All right, here we go. Graphite notes, or the Graphite Bootcamp, however you want to think about it. It's kind of the same thing. So what I'm going to do, your paper should already be laid out. That image is ready for you. After you go through the PowerPoint presentation and write notes, then you are going to come down to these areas right here. So in order to work on this, you need at least 3 different pencil grades: H, 2B, and ebony. So I have mine right here. And remember, I think I showed you this to you already, that you can tell what pencil grade it is just by looking at the end of the pencil. H, 2B, and then here's my ebony pencil, which is basically like a 8B, 9B. It's just a specific brand. It just always has good, consistent quality. The other pencil you could be using, and if you didn't already know, your number 2 pencil is an HB. So that is going to be right in between H and 2B as far as the hardnesses go. So what are you going to do? In these 3 squares right here, you are experimenting with mark making. So using only that pencil grade, so an H, you're going to go through and experiment. Now, H is a very light pencil. So I'm actually going to switch down here to do the 2B because it will show up a little bit better on the video. So fill this whole square. So do a doodle, lines. I really want you to try pressure changes. So light, dark, light, or skinny, fat, skinny. Pressure changes, different types of lines. You can also try fading out really quickly with a transition. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing like medium hard, and then as I move to the right, I'm easing up on my pressure, so that kind of gives me an idea of the range. So just experiment. Write your name. But really we want to know how these are as drawing tools. So maybe you have something that you love to draw. Maybe that good old basic sphere. You can try different shading styles. So let's say you want to try, at some point I do want you to just press as hard as you can just to see what it can do. However, when you're using that pencil, this is the 2B pencil, it is going to not get as dark as the other pencils. The whole point of using different pencil grades is to pick the right tool for the job. So if I need really light values, if I need skinny lines, if I need a light drawing that I can erase easily, the H pencil is going to be the tool for that job. It is not a very good shading pencil. Maybe as you fade out to white, you'll want to use your H pencil to slowly build up. But in general, the H pencil is not a dark pencil. That's not its job. So your ebony pencil is going to be the darkest of all these. Once you fill the whole area in with experiments, then what I want you to do is number 4 right over here. So number 4 says observation about different pencil grades, or on different pencil grades. So you're going to look at these 3 boxes and notice the difference between those pencil grades. So between H, 2B, and ebony. Then we actually are going to start the real work. The real work are these flat value scales and the graded value scales. These are going to take more work. It's going to take a lot more time. And you have these about 1-inch boxes. This is going to be a smooth value. So a smooth value means that when you are finished, you cannot see a lot, or if any, of the pencil lines. So what I'm going to do for my flat value scale is I'm going to use the right tool for the job. So that means I'm going to have a white here, then I'm going to have a light value, a medium dark, and then a dark. So each one of the pencils that we have is going to be better at some of those values. So for instance, in my light, I am going to start shading very tiny circles. What I want you to notice right now is where I'm holding my pencil. So smooth pencil shading requires you to really control the pressure of your pencil. I am going to use more of the point, although in the video it might look like I'm shading with the side of my pencil. I am not. I am up at an angle. And if you can see where I'm gripping my pencil, I'm not like the tightest grip ever. It's pretty loose, and often I will honestly like drop my pencil just because it just falls out of my hand. So I am going to start in one corner. Do not try to shade the whole entire space at a time. So don't like, do work with these small overlapping circles or ovals. And because this is an H pencil, it tends to leave behind lines. So I am using a wider oval or circle just to kind of show you the difference in those two techniques. Now I'm going to start doing a second layer. On my second layer, I'm trying to get rid of pencil lines. I'm trying to make the value flat. So flat value means that it's even and it's the same all over. So if I kind of maintain that smaller technique up here in the corner, I'm going to be able to get a flat value pretty easily. If I go back to those really large circly marks, I'm going to leave behind pencil lines. So I think we can see that right there. So this area where I was doing the small light layers, I cannot see those pencil lines. This, when I'm doing that large, so you want this whole box to be like this corner. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to the middle here, and I'm going to switch pencil grades. I now have my 2B pencil, and I am going to start with a really light layer. Again, look at where I'm gripping my pencil. And already this really light layer of 2B is darker than my 2 layers of the H. That's because this is a better tool for these medium values. 2B is not really good for the dark values. So it's a nice in-between middle value. I'm gonna do just half of the square. You do the whole thing. I'm gonna rotate, and this time I'm gonna go up and down. Again, I am trying to make it so that it's smooth, flat value, that I cannot see any pencil lines when I'm done, and that the value is even. So let's talk about one of the things. If you're looking at mine and you're like, okay, that's not even, I'm gonna go at an angle because it's still not smooth. Over here, I hope you can tell, is a little darker than over there. So this is where your kneaded eraser comes in. So we pull and bend it. So I can use this to just dab up that area that's just a little darker. And if I did it too much, I can go back and add just really spot layering right there. So here's my medium value. It's about 3 layers of the 2B. If you want, you can layer some of the H on top of it. But that's my medium value. I think I'm gonna have to make it darker later, but we'll see. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna switch to my ebony pencil. So I'm getting into my medium dark and my dark. Now, careful with that ebony. It is gonna want to powerhouse and overtake with the dark. So now again, look at where I'm holding my pencil. I am using these long, skinny ovals. There's one layer. Then I'm gonna switch back to my 2B. Gonna switch back to my 2B to do, oops, the next layer. And notice I'm doing it up and down. So this is gonna be a medium dark layer. I am not changing my pressure. I'm still using that same light pressure. Another layer at an angle. Okay, the final one is an ebony. Just ebony all by itself. So ebony, here I go. One layer, rotate your paper, 2 layers. Now when you do this, you have to be careful you're not dragging your hand through any other areas of graphite to smudge your other drawing. So right now I have 2 layers of ebony. I have a pretty nice value scale as far as the steps that go down evenly, but this is just not actually as dark as my pencil can get. With maybe 3 or 4 layers, notice on this 3rd layer, I am holding my pencil more straight up and down. The other thing that I'm kind of doing while I'm working is I'm rotating my pencil a little bit more. As I move my pencil into more of an up and down position, see how my grip changed? See where I'm holding it? But I am not pressing harder. I'm letting the point of the pencil get into those grooves. So yes, pencil is made out of lead. No, not lead, graphite. Oh my goodness. And that is a shiny material, but even at the darkest, it should not be as shiny as if you just mash your pencil into the paper. There's a lot of reasons to do this light layering. One of them is so that you can fix mistakes. So that's as dark as I can get. And now I'm kind of looking and reevaluating. I think this one might need to go just a little bit darker, so I'm going to add 1 more layer of ebony. Again, I want to make sure it's flat because it's a little darker over here, so I'm going to do some coloring over here. And then I've determined, I said that that might not be dark enough. I am going to do 1 light layer with ebony here. So I'm overlapping or alternating between different pencil grades so that I can get the proper value needed. So now as I look, I'm making sure I have that even step. That one can stay white. If you'd like to make it like the lightest ever, you can. Remember, there is no smudging. There's no smudge. We're not going to smudge with the side of our hand. We're not going to smudge with this to make it even and smooth. We are going to use the pencil as a drawing tool the way that more sophisticated artists use it. Next thing we're going to do is a graded value scale. So what I like to do for this, start with my ebony. And I'm going to start with like a medium pressure. And what I'm thinking about is matching these values, but instead of them stopping and switching, I want them to gradually fade. So this is going to be the darkest area. Then I'm going to go to medium dark. Remember, this is just my first layer. Then I'm going to go to a medium. Now at that point in my value scale, I switched pencils. So I'm going to switch pencils here to my 2B. It's going to overlap on top of that ebony for a while. Then it's just going to be 2B. Now this first layer is pretty messy. I'm getting in a rush, but I am drawing really, really lightly. So that means I will be able to even it out later without smudging it. So there's my first layer. That's kind of how I'm getting it to do a graded value, which is a transition. Here's my second layer. So if it took 4 layers over here, it's going to take 4 layers over here. Now, with going side to side like this, you really need to watch out to make sure you don't get bands between your colors. So this is about the spot that I switched out to my 2B pencil. All right, I'm gonna work just a little bit more down here, just so you get this idea. Look at third layer using the pencil point. And since this one is a very soft pencil, ebony is a very soft pencil, I have to rotate it because it gets dull very quickly. Now the last little thing I want to talk to you about with the ebony is that you will see that it gets pockets of paper, kind of looks a little woolly. How do you fix that? You take a harder pencil, there it is, or a sharper pencil, and you get onto the point of the pencil and you get into the little tooth of the paper. Tooth of the paper is what grips the graphite or whatever media, but I'm not pressing hard. I just want to fill in those white pockets of paper so that they're even and consistent. Here I have a big white pocket, I have a little white pocket, I have a bigger, small. So this area is what I would call woolly, that there's a lot of pockets of white paper. So there it is. I don't know which way is up anymore. I don't know if you do either, but make sure you finish that and then you have space for a free drawing.